Hi. I feel like I am a pressure cooker. There's so much cooking going on, and I feel like I'm not releasing the steam. And for me, releasing the steam is through sharing, and I keep getting in my own way in sharing myself, sharing my journey, and it feels important, it feels needed, it feels sacred, the word that's coming up. And I'm very conscious of not wanting to be too much, I guess, but I guess I'm conscious of the fact that I've been cooking a lot, I've been doing a lot, and it's like, is it fair now to come on and release that all in one video? Or could I create a time and space regularly to have that release more consciously and more intentionally? But that's in the processing of the pressure cooker, I guess. It's 3 a.m. I came back after a creating event in London. After a first day, my mentor came down from all the way from Hawaii, 55 people from all around the world, my community, my circle, people that I've deeply connected with online all came together, and it was just so great to meet all, to hug all, to be with everyone, and at the same time it was a lot. Plus doing the whole day of like going within and looking, exploring and looking at different perspectives to life, to how we create life. Yeah, and I came back feeling tired, and there was a lot bubbling up, and my body was like wanting to move. My mind was like, no, let's go to sleep. It's after 10, tomorrow we have an event again, so you need to rest. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I couldn't sleep properly. My mind was like trying to grapple with the day and what's been happening, trying to process. So I was getting flashbacks of the entire day, and I woke up at 2 a.m. feeling as though I was still at the event. So my body was like, let's go dancing. That's the time to go dancing. So I danced and I listened to music and I journaled a little bit, and I'm like, I need to go on and share, just release the steam. And that's why I'm looking the way I'm looking. And I'm not concerned about, feeling into what would I love to share now, what would serve me to process out loud, not trying to make sense, what would entertain the viewer. I had this idea of like creating my talk show, like dreaming big. That was one of the things that we were playing with, exploring at the event, dreaming big. Something beeped. And this idea came today because I'm like, I just want to talk and share and contemplate. I was like, why not have my talk show? So let's see if that idea ripens. I had so many beautiful reflections in the past few weeks. I've been doing I've been assisting at the ISTA training, which is a spiritual, sexual, shamanic experience, and it was my third time being in the container, and it's absolutely profound and deep and so level healing. Like, I was just so humbled experiencing 60 people going through their heroes' journeys, going inside, healing, exploring, expanding, connecting, releasing the shame, the guilt, the fear, the judgments, and just like really emerging from their cocoons into the beautiful butterflies that they are. And I was like, oh, like that's what I live for. I live for transformation. But with that comes the price. Like everything in life has a price, and I'm feeling into how I want to articulate that. It's not necessarily price in a bad way, like, but there's an effect that happens after. So my biggest wish and desire in life was to feel fully, because I've been so numb and disconnected for such a long time. And now being able to feel fully, to be out of my shell and dance and move and inspire and create, and accessing. So this is what I wrote in my journal. The more I tap into the wisdom and the essence of this life and how I create, the more freedom there is, yet also the more responsibility that comes with it. And so being able to feel, being able to dance, being able to create, being able to impact people, this is all I ever wanted. And now I get to experience that. And I'm feeling the weight of projections, I guess the word that comes to mind, but not necessarily the bad projections, but more of like the praise, the acknowledgement that I'm hearing about myself. And I'm like, wow, this is me. And I'm holding it all. And this like being created as an idol, as this icon of perfection that feels, or that felt heavy. And for those of you who follow me, know that I was doing a 75 hard challenge. And it's a mental toughness challenge. There's loads of different elements that go into that. But I have failed it on day 33 or 4. And I failed it because I missed the workout. And that was because I went on a mushroom trip by myself. And that's a whole different rabbit hole and story. But yeah, it was just really deep and intense. And I ended up like passing out after, completely exhausted. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll just take some time off now, because this big training coming up that I've just mentioned is the training. I was like, I might just take some time off, because it's pretty much like I wasn't really seeing how I was going to be able to carry on with the challenge under such deep and intense training and like fully packed schedule, and me assisting at the event or training. And my mind was like, no, like, or not my mind, but rather part of myself was like, I'll call this part my David Goggins, was like, fuck no, like, get back on a fucking horse. And like, this is the perfect time to actually do the challenge, you know? Like, what are the more challenging conditions that you can have? And that's the game, right? That's the mental toughness to be doing what you're doing despite the circumstances. So I got back on the horse. I've completed the training. I smashed the challenge. But meanwhile, I was noticing, we went out, like, we had some beautiful meals at the training, and some were like out of my diet, and one of the parts of the challenge is to choose a diet and to stick with it. And my diet was gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free. Quite straightforward. So I noticed myself nibbling on bits, and that technically is failing the challenge, because it's very black and white. It's like, if you don't complete any task, you need to start again. But I was being cheeky. I was like, I'm just like, oh, this is nice dessert, like, just a nibble. And I noticed myself excusing myself. It's like, no, I'm still good. I'm still doing the challenge. Like, it's just a nibble. And then I was like giving myself permission to have those little nibbles. And then on the last day, I was just like, I'll just enjoy some cake, you know. It's like, I'm sure there's not much sugar. It's gluten-free. It's some dairy, whatever, you know. And I'll still do the challenge. Like, it's still okay. It's like, I'm just celebrating. Okay, yeah. Keep lying to yourself. And then now, like, I came back, and then I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna come back home. You're gonna have controlled conditions. So like, you don't eat, like, you can follow your diet at the home. You're on training, like, all these fucking excuses. And I came back and I was really good for a few days. And now this other training that's happening, and I'm like, just the nibble, just the nibble. Nibble after nibble. And on the way back home, it's like, I just fucking want some chocolate. I just want chocolate. I've not had chocolate bar for two months, over 2 months. And I was like, oh, fuck this, you know, I just want some fucking chocolate. It's been a long day. I just feel overstimulated, overwhelmed. I just want fucking chocolate. So I went in, I bought chocolate, and I failed the challenge. Which technically I failed already with the nibbles, but that was like noticing myself eating that chocolate and being like, it's fine, you can still do the challenge. Look at all these other things that you do so great. And I was like, this is so fucked up. I'm so out of fucking integrity. Like, oh, yeah. Just noticing that, and I was like, no, it's like, this is not how I want to live life, you know. But it was interesting to see those leading up moments, those small little things that led me to this, like, oh, just, you know, just fuck it. So it made me reflect a little bit on like how important integrity is in my word, and that small things matter and they lead to bigger things. But the reason I was sharing this was something else, and I knew I was gonna lose the thread of it. The weight of projections. Oh yeah. So I was talking about the weight of projections, and I was reading that there comes responsibility when you're stepping into your power, and you're of service, you're leading, you're guiding. You're in the work of transformation, and people are projecting and like looking up at you and putting you on, maybe some putting me on the pedestal, you know. And I'm just like this, you know, power, commitment. I'm doing this challenge, everyone's praising me. I'm at this training, everyone's praising me. I'm at the other training, everyone's praising me, and I'm like, fuck. And like failing this challenge with the chocolate, I was just like, you know, I'm just fucking tired. I just want to be messy and fucked up, and like I was just like feeling this weight of perfection, like yeah. And that was for me just like I just yeah. And then now I'm thinking like, okay, this is gonna be my third time starting the challenge, and I want to tweak it maybe a little bit, and I will feel into that. But yeah, and then I was thinking, be careful what you wish for, because I wanted it all, and now I'm feeling like pressure to be better, or to live up to this ideal, to this standard, to this icon, which is like, it's not a bad thing. It's actually, it's moving me forward. It's propelling me into being that, and leading the way and showing the way, and yeah, inspiring others. It's just, I guess I've never feel so seen and acknowledged and so in my power in my life, and it's a little bit scary. Yeah, it's a little bit scary. And that's okay. It's scary, and that's okay. And I get that it's part of the journey and part of the process, and like, I'm not saying this is it, I'm done. I'm just exploring. It's pretty fascinating, and it really helps me to speak it out loud, to process things. So I want to be, actually, I keep speaking it out, that I want to create something in terms of like the channel where I can just like regularly upload and share in a way that's not like holding in as a pressure cooker, and like all of a sudden, and I'm like, boom. Something, yeah. And I feel like I would love to commit to something, but at the same time, it's 3 fucking a.m. and my brain is not at its optimal performance to make commitments. And but yeah, I feel like the time is coming, and the time has come, and the commitment shall be made very soon. Tune in. Yeah, appreciating everyone who's witnessing, who's following, who's acknowledging and seeing and learning and growing together. It's gonna be a journey. Yeah, a journey to greatness. La 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 la. Loving you. feeling you. I'm here for you. And a beautiful reflection that one of my fellow coach friends shared around this interconnectedness between us all. And yeah, I'm not gonna try and unpack the way he expressed it to me, but it's something along the lines like, I'm doing this for you, you're doing this for me, and all of us, the way we are being in life, showing up in life, is a contribution. Even doing or not doing, like being is a contribution already. So celebrating you all, celebrating myself, celebrating life, and the adventures that will follow. Would love to hear from you if anything came up for you. If you want to share, I would love to hear. And I will see you very soon. Mwah.